On today's That Park Plays Daily Countdown, Epcot's brand new Journey of Water attraction has no lines right after opening. A new book reveals Marvel changed Phase 4 specifically for Jonathan Majors. Suits reclaims its spot as the biggest show in streaming. Analog announces a state-of-the-art machine that can be used to play Super Mario 64. Matthew Vaughn reveals how Halle Berry got tricked into playing Storm again. And patents hint at a huge change for Universal's Epic Universe. All that on today's That Park Plays. In a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was the That Park Plays Daily News Countdown. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, and here with me is Mr. Vash Sky.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on, Jonas. It's good to be back this morning, and I see you're in a joyous mood, so that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite part of the day. There are a lot of little pieces to get in motion here to get one of these out. So I love it when they finally come together, that we can bring you, from our contributors, entertainment, streaming, theme park, and video game news from across the web. So that being said, let's get right to it for all the news that should be fun.
Number 1.
Hello, this is Lorena Creole of the Lorena Creole YouTube channel, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And speaking of keeping it real, the Journey of Water inspired by Moana attraction at Epcot, turns out there's no virtual queue and no wait, only on the second day of operation. Coming to us from blog Mickey, unlike opening day yesterday, guests visiting Epcot didn't have to join a virtual queue to experience Journey of Water inspired by Moana. The self-guided nature trail functions best as a no-pressure wandering experience, and that's exactly what it was today. Disney did not activate the virtual queue at all, and when we visited during the early afternoon today, there was zero wait to enter the nature trail. A large queue was set up to anticipate standby needs, but was not in use when we visited this afternoon. There was no wait. In our opinion, the fact that the standby was offered and there was no way to enter Journey of Water is perfect. While likely necessary due to opening day crowds, a virtual queue for Journey of Water doesn't set expectations where they should be for the experience. When Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind has a virtual queue, and I believe it actually still does, and it's one of the best and most memorable rides at all of Disney World, guests expect something similar from all virtual queue attractions. So, do you think that this attraction is definitely better off without having a virtual queue? And the fact that there was no virtual queue being used on the second day, does it entice you to visit this attraction? Let us know in the comments.
Number 2.
Hey there, everyone. Bounding into comics editor and one of the world's few pre-MCU Ant-Man fans here to let you know that for all his promotion as the driving force of the multiverse saga, it seems Kang the Conqueror was only chosen as the MCU's next big bad after Jonathan Majors received, quote, positive buzz over his performance as He Who Remains in Loki's first season finale. This revelation was first brought to light by authors Joanna Robinson, Dave Gonzalez, and Gavin Edwards in their newly released retrospective MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, which, according to Robinson herself, notably went through a, quote, rigorous fact and legal check, end quote. Speaking to the topic of the MCU's post-Endgame future, the trio detailed how, quote, according to one Marvel source, Kang was not originally intended to be the overarching villain of the multiverse saga. The decision to elevate him to a Thanos-level threat was based on the positive buzz actor Jonathan Majors generated in the role, end quote. They continued, quote, Disney flexed its marketing muscles for Kang's cinematic debut, hoping to get as many eyes as possible on Majors' performance and to hype 2 post-credit sequences promoting his central role in both TV, Loki, and film, everything else. To that end, they added, quote, in the closing moments of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, thousands of versions of Kang crowded an arena. All of them wore the face of Jonathan Majors. Not since Robert Downey Jr. had the studio place so many chips on one actor, end quote. Yet, despite being a risky bet, Disney's confidence in their decision was only bolstered by the fact that, quote, although the reviews for Quantumania were woeful and its box office dropped by 69% in its second weekend of release, setting a dismal new record for Marvel Studios, Majors seemed immune to criticism, end quote. As in the public, quote, his performance was lauded as the highlight of the movie and the de facto future of the MCU, end quote. Unfortunately for the studio, their plans for the time-traveling villain have been thrown for a loop following Majors' arrest on March 22nd, but that's a story for another day. That all said, I want to turn the question over to you. What do you make of Marvel's reactionary approach to mapping out the MCU? Do you think Majors' performance as He Who Remains truly warranted his promotion to Avengers-level threat? Are there any other villains you would have rather seen as the mastermind behind the upcoming Secret Wars film? Let us know your thoughts.
Number 3.
All is right now in the world. The One has climbed back to the top. The One has managed to keep viewers coming back for more, week after week. That's right, folks. It's back. Hi folks, CC here, once again from That Park Place, bringing you a quick story inspired by Rick Porter over at The Hollywood Reporter. And if you hadn't guessed already, Suits is back, baby. Yep, the little show that could, long after its cable television run ended, has reclaimed first place in the Nielsen streaming charts. Since it debuted on the charts about 14 weeks ago, Suits has accumulated a whopping 40.55 billion minutes of viewing. To put that in perspective, that's over 9 billion more minutes than second place, at least for all of 2023. Now, Virgin River, which dethroned the champ with its premiere week on the last Nielsen chart, fell a bit to third overall, but still maintained lead position on the originals chart. Of course, it bears repeating that Netflix still wins the overall category with 8 top 10 shows on their platform, and it looks like reruns do pay the bills. I'm curious, what do you think is the secret to Suits maintaining their #1 spot? Also, what do you think it says about the new era in TV and streaming when an old show dominates the public zeitgeist? And finally, can you think of any shows coming up in the future that will have a chance to dethrone Suits once more? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below.
Number 4.
Hi everybody, Tommy Tables here with some video game news for you today from a company called Analog. They are a retro console maker, so they had previously created a Nintendo Game Boy clone called Pocket, and they'd also released other emulators like a Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, and the Sega Genesis. These consoles apparently did amazing, and they were completely sold out. And part of the appeal of them, they use custom chips to replicate the traditional workings of older hardware. This means that you can use your old game cartridges in these analog devices, which is a pretty awesome gimmick, I've got to say. They have announced that their next emulator will be a recreation of the Nintendo 64 console, which they're calling the Analog 3D, and it'll be able to play cartridges like the Super Mario 64 and the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time games in 4K. But if you don't want to watch them in 4K, that is okay too, because you've got the option of adopting an old school look, sort of like a CRT on modern television. You know, it kind of makes you wonder why Nintendo doesn't do something like this. It should be releasing sometime in 2024. What do you guys think? Are you excited to play this? You a big Nintendo 64 fan, and would you want to go pick this up?
Number 5.
It's Jonas J. Campbell here from That Park Place, and today I've got a story out of Deadline. Matthew Vaughn says he quit X-Men The Last Stand after a scheme to deceive Halle Berry into signing for the return with a fake Storm script. You all remember X-Men The Last Stand, the third X-Men movie of the original trilogy of X-Men movies, right after X2 X-Men United showed us what a superhero film could be. Matthew Vaughn is opening up, and here's a quote from him from New York Comic Con. "One of the main reasons I quit X-Men 3, and this is a true story, Hollywood is really political and odd. I went to an executive's office and I saw an X3 script. It was a lot fatter. I asked, 'What is this draft?' They were like, 'Don't worry about it.' So I grabbed it and I opened the first page. It said, 'Africa, kids dying from no water, and Storm creates a thunderstorm to save all these children.' I thought it was a pretty cool idea. I said, 'What is this?' They said, 'This is the Halle Berry script because she hasn't signed on yet. This is what she wants it to be, and once she signs on, we'll throw it in the bin.' I thought, if you're going to do that to an Oscar-winning actress who plays Storm, I quit. I thought, I'm mincemeat." If you're one of the people who saw X-Men The Last Stand in theaters, you know that Brett Ratner took over that production, and they killed off a lot of major characters, but not Wolverine. And generally speaking, Storm is not one of the characters they focus on in those X-Men movies, Halle Berry being the loudest voice complaining that they haven't given Storm anything good to do. Either way, do you think this would have made a difference in the quality of X-Men The Last Stand? Let us know in the comments down below.
Number 6.
Hello there, Vash Sky here with our next story, this time from Walt Disney World News Today. This is actually an update to a previous story that we had, talking about the testing of a new type of biometrics technology by Universal Studios, specifically facial recognition. Now, we had assumed that this technology would be used at Epic Universe, and now, thanks to an article by Theme Park Stop and, well, more importantly, a new show that Alicia Stella has conducted with Theme Park Wizard over on his channel, we now have confirmation on what this will actually be used for. So as you can see in this concept art right here, these lands are heavily segmented, and that creates a number of operational opportunities here in which these lands could be segmented off not just from each other, but also from the park core itself. As you can see in this concept artwork, you see this middle retail corridor. Well, apparently that's going to be open starting at about 6 p.m. for everybody to actually enjoy these festivities inside this theme park without having to pay any admission whatsoever. Think of a city walk, but actually in the park. Here they can actually enjoy nighttime entertainment, and well, for the people who actually did pay to be in the park that day, they still have access to the themed lands around them. And you can guess what method they'll be using. Well, facial recognition technology to actually access those lands. This is a very interesting story as this theme park develops, hopefully for an opening as soon as January of 2025. Definitely check out Theme Park Wizard's new show with Alicia Stella on all of this. Will you be visiting? Let us know in the comments below.
You know, there was a dream one day of getting together a group of extraordinary contributors here, and I think that we've accomplished that dream, if we can steal from Nick Fury's great plan. Who's your favorite? Put it in the comments who's your favorite, and maybe I'll delete all the ones that aren't Vash.
Well, I was going to vote for Culture Casino, but I want to be I want to be included in that list. So there you go.
All right, follow us on the Twitter handles above. If you got anything you want to say on a regular basis, of course, comment on this video below. If you got something to say, especially if we said something wrong, that is the best place to correct us. Somebody straight up put in the other video, "Culture is wrong." That was the entire comment. I don't know what he said that they considered wrong, so I'm hoping they leave another comment because we actually like the disagreement. Iron sharpens iron is the old biblical principle. So leave us a comment below if you think we could do better or if you think we could do worse. Thank you so much for being here. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you're wanting to see another one. Of course, share it out on social medias on your favorite platform. And come back later today for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com for all the news that should be fun. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.